Okay, so now we're entering a kind of typical communist-style Polish flat. So as we enter, what do we have here?
Well, of course, fair from Życia. It was typical for every dream of every lady. But first of all, wooden entrance, that was typical for every interior. Why wooden? How do you think? Why they use wood?
Cheaper material, or?
Cheaper material, and always walls were not straight. So that helps, you know, to not to see that the wall in the entrance is not very straight. But also famous relax shoes. And I would say, how to translate, but we call it shoes for hard times. So shoes from the 80s, you see the material.
Okay.
What kind of material is that?
Ooh, I wouldn't be able to name the actual material, but it's some kind of winter shoe.
Well, yeah, it's made for the only material that has left. It's in Polish, it's fields. I'm not sure if you know it's fields. The material that they had available that time, but it's not very comfortable. It's not warm, and so on and so on. So let's continue.
Just a second. What do we have here?
That's the vacuum cleaner from the 50s.
That's a vacuum cleaner. Wow. Okay.
So still works, but well, that's maybe not.
We'll do a clean-up job a bit later.
Maybe not now.
Okay. So just here we have a type of old-style washing machine, right?
That's the washing machine Frania, a dream of every Polish lady. Not only used for washing, but also to make alcohol, all to copy illegal materials. You could, in the 80s, you could put here all the illegal newspapers and copy it here. So not only for drying, but also for doing other stuff. Not only for washing, but also for making other things. We were very creative in this. Very creative. Of course. Another dream of a Polish lady. So all the other ladies that are coming here, they are watching this with
great interest and excitement.
Yeah, exactly, excitement. Well, we can shave also with the.
This is an electric.
Not electric.
A wind-up razor.
Yeah, it works very well.
Yeah.
Every day when I come here, I do it before job.
I should have used this before I started. I could do with this shave.
You don't have problem that the battery will be low, because it's always the same.
I don't know why they don't still use this.
This was very useful. And of course, bathroom from the times. Still, you could buy, if you like, to have this kind of beautiful tiles. You can still buy it on the internet. Please come to the kitchen. Kitchen, this is called in Polish Buffet Śląski. We took it from Śląsk because we found it from Silesia, because we thought it's interesting object, typical from the 50s. Well, like in the kitchen, very small space, no window, typical kitchen from the 50s, 60s, and stuff used for the everyday life.
What do we have up here? This looks like, I'm not sure what this is.
This is soda water. This is soda water. You had to put bullets here. You have here, see, bullets for the soda water. You put the new with the gas and no, empty. No.
Okay.
And you put gas. You have gas water. That was very useful. But we have one highlight of our kitchen, which is this machine. And tell me, what is that for?
Wow. This is like a blender. Blending the food?
Something with potatoes.
It mashes the potato?
No.
Oh, I'm not sure then.
Skrabacz brambor, which means it's Czechoslovakia, only Czechs could invent that. It's to peel potatoes.
That's for peeling potatoes?
Nobody ever know. For 5 years, I meet guests here. Nobody knows what's that for. So you
Does it actually work though?
Well, I never tried, even though I found it in my basement. But it should work. It's the case that you pour water. You need this how to call it.
Okay, the top to stir it,
And it should work. It should work to peel potatoes. It's more for maybe army, when you have to do it more, a lot of potatoes and so on.
Okay.
But that's really cool and could be at home. No?
Right. So what do we have here then?
Well, from the kitchen, as you see, very little space. We come to our apartment. Famous półkotapczan.
Right.
Meblościanka, it's we call it, translation it would be wall furniture. This was the, you could buy it, you could find it in every apartment because they produce 4 types of furniture and everyone had it. So if you got drunk in the night and you missed floors and you went to other flat, you don't see any difference, no? Maybe wife was different, or maybe not, maybe better. But basically, the apartment would be similar. Well, this is also quite maybe not obvious piece of furniture from the 70s. So we have 80s, we have 70s. Like in the typical flat, you don't have one style. You always had what you got. But this, for the first point of view, it looks like just nice bar. Like a piece of furniture, but interior surprise us. See, so
secret stash of what do we have here?
Krakos.
Krakos vodka.
Maybe not on the vision, but later I will give you a try. So basically, that would be more in the office of in the cabinet of a communist dignitary than in the flat, but it could be also in the flat. So more than less, that's how it looks like. Also, typical were these fishes. That's one of the absolutes of these times.
Typical kind of ornament.
Well, it produced in Soviet Union, and the stories say that there was. They had too much uranium. That's maybe more legend, that they had too much uranium, so they decided to produce fishes with a bit of uranium inside, so they are shining. But it's not the one. But the fashion came spread out. And here you have young me.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I do. I see the resemblance. Yeah.
So basically. Well, this is my grandma bed, so I used to sleep here when I was visiting my grandma. No?
And this is some like radio?
Yeah, radio Ślęza, typical from these times, from the 80s. No?
And can I just ask about these? Are these games or cards?
No, just boxes. Just boxes you keep. Typical was that you never waste anything. Yeah? So if you got this box for any occasion, and it was, for example, it's not for the chocolates, but if was for chocolates or whatever, you wouldn't throw it out. You would use it for other stuff. So
I see.
That's why we still find in boxes after chocolates. You use it for pencils or so on. You never waste things in communist time. Still, we have it in mentality. Thanks to that, we have this museum because people still storage things. One lady gave us big boxes of washing powders and soaps that were never used for the last 30 years.
Wow.
She kept it in the basement now. So it's still in mentality.
Right. Shall we just move around to this side? And we seem to have the sort of, I don't know, living area, shall we say?
Yes, basically we wanted to show, let's say, 2 flats. This is just an idea that not only everyone had furniture, the same furnitures. There were, let's say, intelligentsia, let's say, because you can't exactly group people, but there were people that could afford to have other design of furniture. And this is design from the 60s of the so-called factory WAD. They had very good design, and these pieces of furniture today, you will buy this chair, cost like 500 zlotys.
Yeah?
Yeah, because this is the authentic from the 60s. It's very good design. So we also want to show that in Poland there were artists, there was good design, and that's also worth to show the difference. No, so people used to live different, and people used to had to even though if the times were hard, they were trying to live like, for example, they used to live before the war. They would keep the lifestyle from these times, even though it was sometimes incredible to afford new piece of furniture designed by someone or so on. But always we were trying to show that there were 2 faces, 2 ways of life also. You know? In these similar times.
You got a record player down here as well.
Of course.
We've got some.
Still works.
Yeah.
What do we have here? Some records from these times. ABBA, of course, ABBA.
Yeah.
Have to be ABBA.
Was that like a rare thing to be able to find some ABBA?
Well, ABBA was popular.
Sure, but I mean, was it easy to find an ABBA record in Poland during those times?
You know, if you had, first of all, you need to have connections to find Sugar or whatever, no? So even though the same story with the CDs and so on, vinyl CDs. Even Rolling Stones you could get, yeah, CDs. So there was possibilities, yes? You just needed to know where to look for.
Know the right person. Okay, okay. Maybe we just have a look up here on the wall. You seem to have some sort of magazine cuttings, is that right?
Yes,
and,
yes.
And some photos here. Could you explain what these are about?
Yeah. Basically, we all think about communist times that there was only Tribuna Ludu and only propaganda.
What's Tribuna Ludu?
Tribuna Ludu was a propaganda newspaper made by Communist Party, and showing only, you know, line of the party, no place for opposition, no place for other point of views. But there were also, especially in the 60s, when the times were a bit lighter, there were magazines made by, they were also like nationalized, but they could talk about different subjects, yeah, about life, everyday life, about the design, about how to grow up kids, how to how to make your life different. No? And these are some kind of magazines showing how people used to live, what you can do, what you can approach, how you can make on your own, for example, Kids Corner. It was all like today IKEA, you know. It's like there was no difference between today and that times, because life was trying to be normal. No? So even there were newspapers. They like, if you watch these magazines, you think, well, like in West Europe, yeah, you could design a nice room for your kids, but it was not for everyone. Yes, you had a flat which had one room, and you couldn't even think about designing a room for your kid, because there was no room for this kid. Yeah, so that was a different story. Not for everyone. Yeah?
Just an aspirational lifestyle.
Well, you could read that. Yeah, why not? Think it's possible. So basically, we want to show a bit different styles of furniture, different ways of life, how people used to live in different apartments. Also, the magazines, there were not only propaganda magazines, there were also magazines that will give you an advices how to live, how to buy products and so on. So let's follow up, because there is plenty to see.
All right, let's go.